Yeah, okay. Hi, my name is Girish. I'm a faculty at IIT Bombay. I'm also a co-founder of EkType. Essentially, some years back, I was interested in letters, and I found out that several people were interested in letters, and we realized we are of one kind, and so we started EkType. Okay, so EkType means we are together. Is the mic off or is up? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we are so in Marathi we call ourselves Aksharanna Vahileli Mansa, or letter conscious people, and I'm going to talk about some of the work that we are doing. Now, if we essentially look at the printing tradition, it's fairly old. I mean, we have been printing multilingual books since the 17th century. So this, for example, is Horticus Indicus Malabaricus. It was printed in around 6 or 7 scripts. We also have a fairly rich manuscript tradition. So we have Jain manuscript traditions, we have Maharashtrian manuscripts, we have a whole bunch of them. Okay, and there's several people who've tried to make fonts out of them. Okay, so during the 70s and 80s, when theater was a craze, or when phototypesetting came in, or around the year 2000 when Professor R.K. Joshi created a whole bunch of fonts for Microsoft, we had several kinds of fonts. But if you look at fonts today, a whole lot of them are quite unusable. I mean, most of them are based on Latin typefaces. Okay, the ones which are on Windows are proprietary, so you cannot sort of take them across mediums. If you use it on one system, you cannot use it on another system. They're based on Latin. There are several fonts which do not have adequate features, conjuncts, and a whole bunch of such things. What happens when it comes to display typefaces, for example, you must have seen flex boards. Okay, so in the 70s there was a very famous calligrapher who wrote Hardik Shubhecha, and now you see the same Hardik Shubhecha on every flex board, be it Chintu's Munja or Tai's Lagna or Dada's Adhyaksha Pad. You will see the same Hardik Shubhecha in different colors and different angles. And as a graphic designer, it's somewhat depressing, because for a child I would want different letters, and for someone else I would want different letters. So for a literary tradition and for a culture which is as rich as ours, our letters look somewhat impoverished. Okay, and to that, so we thought we'll do something about it, and since we are letter conscious people, we design letters, we thought we'll make fonts. Okay, and so I'll just share some fonts and some work which we have. Okay, so these are some of the font families that we've designed. Okay, I'll start with Modak. Okay, so this is done by this young girl Maithili over there and Sarang. Okay, so Modak is this rich Golgondas font which we've made. Some people thought that we could not scale it up. How will you get complex conjuncts in this? So this is how the entire glyph set looks like. So there's an entire typeface which looks like this, and when you use it in sentences, it will look like this. Okay, so Ganapati Bappa, Tutti Frutti, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this became a fat typeface, so they wanted a thinner typeface, and so we created Gotu. This is done by Sarang. So this is a somewhat of a thin typeface, and someone wanted a thinner typeface than this, so we created Nivedita. So Nivedita is done by Nupur Date. That's how the font looks. Okay, we've had a fairly rich manuscript tradition, and we thought that, you know, so there are several fonts. So our manuscripts are set terribly. Okay, so so Sarang and R.K. Joshi, they got inspired by Jnaneshwari, and the Jnaneshwari was written in a specific hand. So there's a specific calligraphic style in which the Jnaneshwari was written, and we've sort of created a font which is based on the Jnaneshwari, which is called as Jnananagari, and that's how it looks. I myself am fascinated by the Jain manuscript tradition, and so I've created a specific typeface which is based on the Jain manuscript tradition, and that's how it looks. The peculiar feature is that it does not have the lower ukar matras. They sort of fit in the same thing, and it's not so when people first look at it, they feel it's unreadable, but it's not. I mean, so if you look at this font is actually based on this manuscript tradition. So you would see this. Okay, and we come to this, you will see it's the same thing, and it's fairly legible. Okay, now but these are all display typefaces. Okay, which comes to our magnum opus, which is called as Mukta. So the biggest problem with fonts is that they are not open source. Okay, so when a company makes a font and it does not have something in it, you can't do anything with it. Okay, so if there's a symbol missing, if there's a conjunct missing, if there's a letter missing, or you don't like the shape of one letter, you cannot change it. Okay, so Mukta is supposed to change all of that. So Mukta is a Mukta Strot, which means it is a free and open source typeface. Okay, free means it is free of cost, and open source means you can do anything with it. You can put it in a commercial application, you can use it in a textbook, you can use whatever with it. Okay, that is how it looks. Okay, so the Mukta Devanagari is done by me. It took me around 3 years to do this. I did it along with Yash. Another problem with our fonts is that you need a matching English with it. Okay, so we have a matching English with it, and there's a fairly complex process by which we've matched the scripts. I'll skip the process, but I'll just show you the results. Okay, so that's how it looks. That's how the Devanagari looks. That's how the English looks. Now a whole lot of people say that, you know, Girish, you're a graphic designer, you can make anything look good. Okay, and as long as you're doing these things in a software, that's fine. So which is why the reason why I have my computer here is what you can do is, so this is a browser. Okay, I'll just full screen this. Okay, so what's happened is, so the font is available on Google Fonts. So what I do is I pull the font directly from Google Fonts via the Google Fonts API, and this is actually a font, and this is a CSS effect. Okay, and so what I'll do is I'll share the features of the font through this presentation. Okay, so one thing which you've seen is that our graphic design is probably, okay, so our graphic design, so if you look at Marathi websites, they look like they've been designed in the 90s. And the reason why the aesthetic is probably outdated is that there are no good fonts. Okay, so things like drop caps, double columns, and so on and so forth are missing. So I've tried to show some of that. We have 7 weights, which is the highest number of weights available in any open source font. Okay, we have the highest number of conjuncts possible, and what we have is what are called as akhanda conjuncts. That is, if there is no for l, so if you want to write influenza, okay, which is no for l year, okay, the whole thing is 1. There is no break within the conjuncts. We have what we call Shaili Bhedi Sanyuktakshar. So if you look at Akka and Pakka, we have both Adve Sanyuktakshar as well as Ubhe Sanyuktakshar. So Prafullit and Ullekh. Okay. Another feature is that we have matras which will always hit the Shirsha Danda. So there are no floating matras. So if it's Prafullit or explicit, no matter how wide your conjunct, our matra will traverse the entire conjunct and reach the Antya Danda. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so then you can use this. There are some more. So it has the entire Sanskrit set. You can set the entire Rigved along with the Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita, and it works fine. Okay. What it also allows us to do is have effects such as this. So this is again a font. This is not an image. So what you can do with this is, if you rescale this on any device, so be it a browser or a phone, okay, there is no degradation of the font because it's a vector image. On any device it will look the same. Okay, similarly you can have effects such as this, and I'll just end with this. So we have, so it's slightly dark. What you'll see is that we have what we call as Bhashik Shaili Bhed or linguistic style alternatives. So there is this big fight between Maharashtrians and North Indians, that there is this Hindi Shala, there's a Marathi Shala. So we have both the Shalas, and both are available via the API. So you can sort of select whichever Shala you want. Okay, you can select whichever 5 and 8 you want. Okay, we are one in the same, and all of this is free and open source. So all you have to do is just select the setting. Okay, so I think I'll stop over there. Thank you very much for your time. Okay, just in case if you want to know how successful the project is, we get around 13 lakh views a week, and on a total we have around 70 lakh views. So if the total internet usage of India is around 15 crores, the number of users is around 15 crores, so 70 lakhs is around approximately 5%, and we just launched it in May, so I think we are doing quite good. Thank you so much.
So thanks for a very